And welcome back. You are listening to From the Desk of Jamison Greenwood on the Kactus, KCTS. So while Nathan and Mark had been out, Olivia and I continued to practice strategies for Uno every single day. She won most of the games at first, but as she continued to explain various strategies to me, I became more confident and very close to winning, if not actually winning myself, which finally happened at the end of that Thursday, a week before Thanksgiving. That Friday, I won both games between us, and Olivia was very proud of me. "That's so amazing she won," you exclaimed, to the point that Mrs. Kimball turned around and noticed us. "I knew you were capable of it." Now, I felt a bit ashamed at first. Not because I had won, although I don't mean to sound full of myself. That's one thing that I am so paranoid about sometimes. I don't know about you. But because I wasn't nearly as excited as she was. I thought it was good that I won, but I didn't feel like it didn't feel like I'd become President of the United States, I just won a game of Uno. "Well, thank you, Olivia," I replied out of politeness. "I don't know why, I'm sorry, I'm happy about it. It's just not as exciting to me as it is to you for some reason." "Probably because it's just the two of us," she smiled. "When Nathan and Mark come back and you go up against them, you'll be ecstatic." "You think I'm ready to face those two?" I asked. I was shocked. I never thought I'd be able to win against them. She sat next to me and patted my shoulder. "I know you're ready, Jimmy... What's your last name?" "Greenwood," I answered. Then, like a wise philosopher, she looked towards the ceiling and proclaimed, "Your training has prepared you, my star pupil. It is time for you to begin your quest to defeat Nathan and Mark." This was a little bizarre to me, but charming nonetheless, so I thanked her and said goodbye to her and Mrs. Kimball, then took the Valley Metro bus back to my home in Stucco Gardens for the weekend. Now that weekend went by, but I maintained focused on the game's strategies and practicing. Grammy and I practiced at her house in Sun City West on Saturday, and she even offered to let me try bridge again, thinking I would better understand it now that I was older. I declined that time, but promised to let her teach me when we went to Uncle Isaac and Aunt Dagny's house for Thanksgiving. Then on Sunday night I studied the Psalms and the Proverbs, praying in part for the game, but more importantly for a topic for Mr. Trevino's paper, which would be due that Tuesday before Thanksgiving. I wanted to come up with something original, but no matter what I thought of, it didn't seem good enough, so I kept putting it off. I can always say family and shelter if worse comes to worse, I thought. It'll probably only get me a B, though. Then Monday after school came. Nathan had recovered from his flu, and Mark was free from basketball practice until after Thanksgiving. The three of us waited for Olivia to come back from the art studio in the back of the school, and when she arrived at the library, we gathered at a table near Mrs. Kimball's desk by the counter. Olivia and I sat on one side, and Mark and Nathan sat on the other. Now my hands were sweating with fear and anticipation as Olivia dealt the cards, and we began to play. But as soon as we started playing, a rowdy bunch of Mark's basketball buddies came in, one of them proclaiming, "Hey, how's the guy who made that shot that gave us the game last week?" They high-fived him and gathered all around the table, one of them whispering to the other behind me, "If he won our game, he can win anything." Now this put me in a high-stress situation. I was already not favored to win, and I didn't think at that point I would. But I figured, well, what the heck, I'll try the strategies and we'll see what happens. And so I did. By and by the game was played, and cards were discarded, drawn, directions switched, dropped, and more cards discarded. I had Uno, then I didn't. Olivia had Uno, then the whole deck. The basketball players celebrated Mark's victories and sneered at his defeats. I tried every strategy I could, but it seemed that only luck would save me. Then the final play occurred. I had gotten Uno again. Mark had 2, and Nathan and Olivia had 3. Nathan put down a red 6, and Olivia looked at it. "Dang," she said. "I'll have to draw." She drew, and I glanced at my card, a green 8. I hoped she'd find something, but I doubted it. Luckily the card she found was a color change card. "Green," she requested. I did a double take. What color did you say?" "Green," she responded. I glanced up at the basketball players, whose dreams I was about to crush. "Sorry, guys, but I'm out," and I placed the card on the deck, blankly looking at Mark. "Dude, you just got your beat," said the first basketball player. "The apocalypse is coming. We're screwed," sighed Nathan. "It's just a game, guys," I chuckled. "Not if you lose," sneered Mark. "Let's go to Chipotle, guys." The 6 of them left, and Nathan put his head on the table. I turned to Olivia to discuss the aftermath, and then Mrs. Kimball and Miranda Anderson came over. "Who won?" Mrs. Kimball asked. "Jimmy," replied Olivia. "Good job, Jimmy," Miranda grinned. "How does it feel?" I just sighed. "I think I'm a terrible gamer, you know. I'm not driven to win. All those other guys are." "You mean you just have fun doing it?" asked Olivia, her eyes wide with disbelief. "There's nothing wrong with that," replied Mrs. Kimball. "We need more people like that in this world. You'd be a good politician. You're not driven to get reelected." "I guess it's okay," I replied. "I just have fun playing the games is all." Then a light bulb clicked on in my head. I knew exactly what to do for my Thanksgiving essay. When I got home that night, I pecked voraciously at the keyboard, typing out why I was glad to play games rather than win because of the people I got to hang out with and the fun of being together, which was hard to come by in my time, though is even more so today with all the technology that we have. And I handed it in to Mr. Trevino on Tuesday, and he seemed suspicious at how proud I was to give it to him. "I didn't know it was so cool to hand an essay in to your teacher," he rolled his eyes. Then on Wednesday he handed them back. A bunch of red ink chicken scratch reading, 99%. "Excellent job, Jimmy. Just remember to capitalize Thanksgiving." And so I do, and I still thank God for the fun I have playing games with those people. And once again, Ivan, as to the rest of the audience, it is time for our trivia quiz, so get the subject spinner ready, and you've got it spinning, okay. Let's see here, category is sports. And the question is, who set the PGA Tour record for making consecutive cuts? Was it A, Arnold Palmer, B, Mildred Dickinson Saharius, C, Jack Nicklaus, or D, Tiger Woods? Second category is colonial America. And the question is, who was the founder of Providence, which later became Providence, Rhode Island? Was it A, John Smith, B, Henry Clay, C, John Wesley, or D, Roger Williams? Final category is spin, grammar. And the question is, which of these sentences exhibits a dangling modifier? Is it A, because it went the other way, B, me and you went to the movies, C, I like from the desk of Jamison Greenwood, or D, we like to watch horses, especially my mother? The answers will be revealed next time. So, before I give the poem this week, I've been informed that I forgot to tell you guys who I was voting for in the election as I promised, so I'll tell you now. They had an A in their first name and a T in their last name. Ha! That's a trick. They both do. Now I will go on to the poem. So this poem, it's a little bit of a grotesque piece, but I thought it sort of ties in with a Thanksgiving theme, because, it's about finding happiness in the small things in life, and it's an unusually structured poem. Most of my poems have several stanzas and they rhyme, but this one was a series of 2 poems that I tried to write where the titles of the poems were actually longer than the poems themselves. So, first I will give you the title of this poem. Inspired by Irma Bombeck, my septic tank exploded and dumped brown sewage all over my backyard, and why I'm smiling at it. The grass is always browner where I come from in Phoenix, so it reminds me of home. This is from the desk of Jamison Greenwood, where 22 words give title to a poem of only 17 words. But never mind any of that. Before we go, though, let's take a look at what's coming up on the Kactus, KCTS. Our morning news team at Useless Chatter will be providing complete coverage of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, including in-depth descriptions of attractions because you won't be able to see them. That will be followed by Arlo Guthrie singing Alice's Restaurant at 12 o'clock noon. This Thanksgiving on KCTS. Our program was created and hosted by a Hillary Clinton supporter and was also written by him along with James Saloson and Minnesota Martinez. Our engineer is Ivan Crosby. Jonas Andrews answers the phones, even though we don't take calls on this program. Our theme is Mac the Knife, written by Kurt Wheel and Bertolt Brecht, performed by the Ray Conniff Singers, and our costumes are provided by Grandma's Garage Thrift Shop. From the Desk of Jamison Greenwood is a production of NJB Enterprises and the Kactus, KCTS, in Phoenix. Well, I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving, so until next time, I'm Jamison Greenwood, and from all of us here at the Kactus, KCTS, I wish you all the best, and again a very happy Thanksgiving, and be careful on Black Friday. Good night. This is KCTS in Phoenix. Stay tuned for Lacking in Substance.